Don't drop it, man. They're fragile.
Batter up.
That's gonna break it. Don't just have.
Yo, Clint, you need a battery? Alright, here you go.
Oh, thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Does this actually work?
Yeah, actually, let me see that real fast. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Whoops.
My bad.
Hey, Clint, can I see the battery?
Yeah, here you go.
Oh, sorry, here.
They're playing. Together, man.
Careful, you might break it.
Yeah.
Oh, Nico. It has 101%. Wait, Clint, can I see the battery? I gotta put it on the camera.
Yeah, for sure.
Wait. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the camera now. Whoops, it slipped.
Oh, no. Whoa.
Nico. Nico.
Sorry.
Here you go, man. Okay, hold on. Give me a real battery. Give me a real battery. That's a real battery. A real battery. You put it on.
It's like, I ain't touching that.
Confidence right here.
Do you feel comfortable if I invite the dancers in to start getting them placed?
Yes.
Great.
It works fine.
It's a rough draft and we need to revise it.
Yeah, it's 4:25 and we are currently writing the script for the video we are shooting tomorrow.
Today we are shooting a video called Early Access Matrix. Why would we figure out the script last second and shoot it the next morning? That might seem a little rushed, and it is. But why? I think we're trying to be consistent finally. Clint and Adrian are working with us in the studio. We have a lot of filmmakers who are trying to do shorts for the Corridor channel, and we're like, okay, you know what? Let's up our output. Let's get more consistent. Let's try and find a more regular schedule. The main point though is that we gotta be shooting videos more often. I decided to kick it off by getting this Early Access Matrix video shot and filmed. After 8 years of filmmaking and doing shorts like this, it's a little easier for me to roll into something without a plan and then still get a video that turns out. Brandon once described the way their schedule worked.
So when we were doing the Freddie W videos, the way we'd keep on schedule is we picked a date and time that we were gonna come out. So we were weekly Thursdays at like 9 a.m. for a long time. We picked that day because we felt like it was open. The way the front page at the time worked was like we had slots that we wanted to hit to maximize our exposure. We're like, that's when the next video is gonna be. So when it came time to start making it, it's Sunday. We have 4 days to go through to get that video done. So we have, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then up to Thursday. But if we couldn't come up with anything on Sunday, on Monday the exercise became like the pressure mounted, right? It was like, now we have to come up with an idea that we can do in 3 days that's gonna wow the audience, that people are gonna enjoy it. Then on Tuesdays, we got 2 days, Wednesday, 1 day, and sometimes it would get so far that it would be Wednesday evening and we still wouldn't have an idea. But at that point, it's like we had 12 hours, like the pressure's really starting to mount. And interestingly, some of the best videos we ever made came out of that system. Like for example, Serial Killer. The lessons that we learned doing that was try very hard to come up with something earlier and stay ahead of it, and so it put the pressure onto that because we know how bad it would snowball. But by never letting ourselves slip, it kind of treated that discipline and helped us. The exercise of ideation. Think of coming up with ideas like a muscle, just like anything else. If like you want a muscle to get stronger, you go to the gym, you work out, you plan activities to strengthen that muscle. If you want to come up with ideas more efficiently, you're never going to come up with them unless you're setting aside time where it's like we gotta do it and we gotta do it under pressure. And it's interesting because often like during those brainstorm sessions where like I need an idea, the idea would rarely come during that. But then once you're like, oh, let's take a break and go to lunch. At lunch, that's when you come up with the idea. Or hop in the shower, that's when you come up with the idea. It would never just happen in a shower if you weren't already putting in the hours to like try to come up with those ideas outside. It's just interesting, the ideas would rarely come during the like actual brainstorming, and instead they'd come out around it.
So, well, for us, our videos are still gonna be pretty big. We're shooting videos really every single week for at least the next 2 months. Everyone knew this video wasn't totally ready, but I was still like, hey, I'm still shooting. We're still shooting. We're figuring it out right now. Yes, we're shooting tomorrow morning. I would much rather just shoot and get a video. Light that fuse, you know what I mean? We have a huge 8-week schedule. Let's set it on fire. Let's go.
All right, we are on our way to the Cinegear Expo, where we are going to be meeting with Anton Bauer Battery Company. Anton Bauer is like one of the old standbys of battery tech in the film industry. Back in the day, they made a style of battery that had a mount called the gold mount. It's been used for basically every professional camera. Anytime you see like a camera as a prop in a movie, it's usually an Anton Bauer battery on the back of it. They have new batteries that just launched yesterday. They're brand new, a whole bunch of new tech in them, and they make V-Locks. We use V-Lock batteries for all of our cameras, our reds, and we use gold mount for all of our lights. Why do I do that?
Yeah.
I like to keep our batteries a little bit separate so that we have a set of batteries just dedicated to our lights and a set of batteries just dedicated to our cameras. I hate wires, so that's why I use batteries for all our lights. And that's why they're all LED. Most people don't know that Anton Bauer makes V-Lock batteries. So now you know, Anton Bauer makes V-Lock batteries. Anyways, let's go. We are in New York City. I just drove down to New York City, guys, and there's a camera car.
So here it is, the new battery.
Cool. Just launched yesterday?
Launched yesterday, publicly launched yesterday. They're in stock in all the dealers around North America and Europe already. So you could walk into B&H, for example, today and go and get one. Cool. You could get one in V-mount if you wanted to. And we make V-mounts now, yeah. In fact, we've been doing it since 2014. We just didn't tell anyone. It's a neat battery. It's more compact than our last generation battery, but at the same time, more long-lived and more powerful. It says 90 on the front, but it's actually 99 watt-hours, so 10% more for your money. We keep it under 100, so it's flight safe for IATA, so you can put as many of these in your carry-on as you wish and take them on an aircraft, which is convenient. The battery tells you percentage when it's just sitting there, and then when you put it on a camera, it gives you a runtime clock in hours and minutes. A passive touch switch, like you have on an iPhone or anything. If you triple tap it, it goes into diagnostic mode. USB and P-tap on there. Yeah, we put USB on there and we're finding that people are using it for charging their cell phone.
So I can just have a really fancy cell phone charger right here?
Yep. So this is yours, Nico. Take it, have a play.
Cool, thank you.
Don't drop it, man. They're fragile.
Delete that clip. Wow, that's... Dude, that's... Sorry.
Oh, they're built to take this. Just be careful with it.
We'll go home and we'll plug this into our red and we'll see if it still works. Sweet.
Dude! Alright, so what's a reflector? What is a reflector? Anything that's reflective. What's a silk? Well, it's a fine thing made from, isn't it made from like spiders or something? We go back and forth between using reflectors and silks, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because we have our own kind of technique that we've developed. So our silks and our reflectors are about the same size. We travel with them. They're supposed to be lightweight. It's supposed to be a small crew. The technique we use to decide whether we're going to use a reflector or a diffuse kind of comes through necessity because we only have reflectors and diffusers of certain sizes. They're not huge. So when you have sunlight and you're using a reflector, that means you have two sources of light. And very frequently, if you're using a reflector outside, you can actually just flatten out your lighting. Let's say you're backlit by the sun and then you bounce it back into someone's face. Well, suddenly you have light everywhere. There's no more shading. There's no more lighting for that matter. Sometimes you kind of need to do that though. We can't use the diffuse in the wide, so we're going to use a reflector in the wide. We're going to even it out by shooting the light at an opposite or an oblique angle to create a little bit of shading or a little bit of fill. And then when we go in close, we can now use our diffusers to even out the light and get a nice soft close-up on someone's face. I personally like that style. It makes it so when you're in a close-up, you're paying a little more attention to the person's natural features rather than the weird lighting and inconsistent contrast and shading that a poorly placed sun is giving you. And when you're in a wide, it basically makes it so that way when you are trying to look at someone's reaction in a wide shot, there is light hitting it and you're able to read it still. It brings a little clarity to the wides and it brings a little beauty to the close-ups. There's no real right or wrong way to use diffuse or reflectors. When you're filming in Minnesota, for example, winter filmmaking in Minnesota, your lighting is great all the time because the sun is always just a little bit lower on the horizon. It's never straight up. Since you're a little farther north of the equator, the sun's always at a lower angle in winter. In those situations, I'm definitely using a reflector because you have that sun always kind of at one of these lower angles. You can start playing with your light. When it's top down though, you gotta diffuse it. You gotta diffuse it or else people their faces get all messed up looking.
Inside the battery, there's an accelerometer, and every time it experiences a shock of more than 100 G, and 100 G sounds pretty bad, but actually that's only a drop from about 2 feet onto a hard floor. Every time it experiences a drop like that, it records it, and it actually creates a time and date stamp as well, so you can see when your battery was dropped. Put that on a charger or something, you can pull all that information off. If the battery's still functional, keep using it. They're going to experience knocks and bangs during their life, and one thing you don't want to worry about is your battery failing, so we build it so it doesn't.
Hey Carmichael, you want to see a trick?
Yeah, man.
There you have it.
So, does it still work?
I assume. All right, we're gonna test out and see if it still works after all that.
And moment of truth. Boom.
Hey, it still works.
And it'll run for 5 hours.
Where's the new battery?
Dude, I love batteries. So is this like the super strong, kind of hard to break battery?
Yes.
Man, you guys have already scuffed it up. Hold on. There's a USB port in this battery.
I know, isn't that nice? You can charge a phone off this like 25 times.
Jeez. Okay, so 14 volt, 6900 milliamp hour. What? That just feels so wrong. Why would you do that to me right now?
You batter up.
Dude, that is gonna break it. That is gonna break it.
Don't just have.
Well, let's see if it boots. It works.
But, I mean, the camera's not fully booted up yet. It can't possibly be reading a correct.
There's no way. Can't possibly be getting a correct
Camera's
reading. Sorry, it's just.
That's really cool.
Wait, you were just pressing something. Is it a touch?
Yeah,
There's a touchpad?
so you can switch your things.
Wait, what?
Yeah, cool.
Why?
Sweet.
And you're still just
You
throwing
wanna
it
play with
around?
it?
I can't get my head around that. That's just so wrong.